Hey guys, RompSteel here again with Game 3 of the semifinals. So, winner goes on to the finals to play Galahad B. Loser goes to play against Vase for third spot. So Rex is the higher seed. Yeah, I was very sad watching the entire top cut bracket, watching him win because he was the only other person on this half that was a higher seed than me. So yeah, I'm at long last stuck with not getting to pick my side for Game 3. So of course he picked Shadow, and I'm Free Peoples with 2 tokens, but the Free Peoples have already gotten lucky enough to win twice, so you never know. I still get it. I mean, I know obviously I already played this, but yeah. So he gets Threats and Promises and Palantir. Palantir's great. Threats and Promises obviously trash. And I have Power of Tom Bombadil and an Ents card, so that's at least Tom Bombadil's playable. You know, and mustering the North down a step. Do rush is pretty common, so it's not terrible. So he goes 0 eyes and rolls 1 and gets this fantastic roll of 4 musters and 2 of those. Like, maybe that's a little over muster heavy, but I don't know. I could roll that every game I play Shadow for the rest of my life, and I wouldn't complain. And I get that. An entirely reasonable roll. So I pass because, I don't know, why show what you're doing first? So he musters both Sauron and Saruman down to war. Makes sense. I move. I don't get hit. He musters an elite in Dol Guldur, which makes sense. Yeah, because you kind of want to just go ahead and hit the road with this. Obviously, you're using that last muster to bring in Saruman at the end of this turn. But you wouldn't want to do that early because then with the Will of the West there, I would be tempted anyway to use a ring to move again and maybe kill Gandalf and bring him in. Move the Fellowship again. Right, and then he brings in Saruman. And then I do the standard Rohan and Old Forest Road movements. He moves towards Old Forest Road and down to Gorgoroth. And I muster the North down. There's maybe an argument for the elves, but in our last game anyway, Rex moved kind of towards Gondor and Do at the same time, so mustering the elves down doesn't help a lot anyway, because he's just going to put Woodland Realm under siege, and he's not going to attack Lorien. So at least that's a combo for 10 points. Obviously, he can always switch targets later. So anyway, and he continues shuffling armies. Yeah, I guess I was just thinking, like, between the token and Power of Tom Bombadil, there's certainly room to make the North a pain here, anyway, with some unexpected mustering there. Yeah. So he gets Denethor's Folly and Flux of Krebine, pretty mediocre, and I get Swords and Eriador and Ents, also pretty mediocre. So he rolls no more eyes, but 3 Palantir, so that's kind of tomato. And I get 2 musters, a hybrid, and a Will of the West. That's not, like, trash, but more movement would have been nice. Right, so I end up opening up with mustering the North down because here's what I'm thinking. Because Saruman's already out there, I want to do a ring move and hopefully kill Gandalf and then get to bring him in with the Will of the West. And if I don't kill him, then at least I'm still moving twice this turn. So I muster the North down because I already have a plan for 2 dice. So if I muster the North down, then when he attacks Old Forest Road, then they'll be at war. And then I have 2 dice left to muster up once in Dale and threaten walking into Woodland Realm. So then I need to make him choose between either attacking Dale and letting me run away into Woodland Realm, or putting Woodland Realm under siege and letting me muster a second elite in Dale. So that's why I use the token here anyway. He decides to not provoke the North just yet because this is kind of a Lords of Middle-earth philosophy here anyway. By not attacking, he's not letting me activate them anyway. So he's kind of, I think he's running down the clock on my musters here because he does say I have 3 musters, so he doesn't want to poke that bear. Okay, and then he pivots these armies towards Gondor. And I mean, I've got these musters to burn through anyway. So I muster Gondor down a step, and then I immediately wonder to myself, was that a mistake? Because he has 1 attack here. So if that being said, I don't know if he has ring wraiths or abroad. So turns out he didn't. But this is a pretty poor choice because I'm still giving him the option to attack once, and then I muster an elite Minas Tirith. But now Gondor's at war, so now he can get the Witch King in. But then again, I've got to say, of course, he can still do that with Old Forest Road. And even if I hadn't mustered either of these nations at all, he could have attacked Old Forest Road, then attacked Dale, and gotten the Witch King anyway this turn. So, yeah, never mind. It don't actually make sense. I don't know what I'm doing. It's making a YouTube channel is the greatest way to convince people you know what you're doing. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Right. Okay. So then he musters the Southrons down to war. And now I go ahead and use a ring to move, and I'm safe. And then he picks up a card, and he picks up Day Without Dawn. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So then I keep shuffling armies along the usual defensive Rohan and the Dew line. So then he uses a ring. Oh yeah, to muster that nation down. I guess he really wanted to be able to threaten Day Without Dawn immediately next turn. Okay, that makes sense. And then I move again, and I'm safe. And then he plays Palantir. That also makes sense. Yeah, really putting pressure on my Wills of the West. But as you'll see, I just don't roll any anyway. So there, haha. Okay, so he picked up Oleg High and Balrog. Interesting. Okay. And I got the third Ent card. So I've got all 3 Ent cards in the first 3 turns. Like, that's bananas. I don't remember if... well, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had that once before in a game against the Fat Hobbit a while ago. I think that was against the Fat Hobbit anyway. And I ended up getting to assassinate Saruman with that, and it made for a fun video anyway. So yeah, I was very excited to see these. I was very, very sad, though, that I didn't kill Gandalf and get him in anyway, because with 2 Ent cards, it's technically possible you could kill Saruman with that army there, but you need all 6 dice to be a hit. With 3 cards, it's still not super likely, but it's not impossible, though. So anyway, that's a hope I have anyway. So I play Swords and Eriador here just for the card cycling because, I don't know, I have 2 Palantirs to use anyway. He didn't roll any Palantirs, so I'm not giving him a ring to blow up the Palantir of Orthanc right now. I guess I'm card cycling, hoping for Thranduil, Dane, Kingbrand, or maybe Guards of the Citadel. Anyway, so I pick up Éomer and Éomer Hill. So both good cards anyway. What do I chuck here? I probably Tom Bombadil. Yeah, I chuck Tom Bombadil. So he attacks Osgiliath from North Ithilien. He rolls no hits. I also roll no hits. So I retreat to Pelargir, which I think makes sense because this army could also run to Dol Amroth, and I only have the 1 muster. So the hope is anyway that between scouts and defending in Pelargir that at least one guy gets here, and then I play Éomer Hill, and then that stronghold's at full strength, so I can go ahead and muster Minas Tirith here. I was a little bit worried that he might rush the Dew line right now that I haven't used a muster. But at the same time, he just poked the Gondor bear. So if you don't run for Dol Amroth right now, then I'm going to be able to get to muster it up too. So you got to pick. So he runs for Dol Amroth, and he gets 1/6. And so do I. So 2 guys run from Pelargir. He attacks lame to no card. This time I use the scouts, because if you have that far to run, you want to save the scouts for the time where he hits me on 5s, of course, right? So Osgiliath and Pelargir I got to defend on a stronghold, not stronghold, but fortification bonuses there anyway. So then I scouts away and get a full 5 units into Dol Amroth. So that's nice anyway. But yeah, of course, it's somewhat unlucky for him that he only got 1/6 on 14 dice, and that he and that I had scouts in hand. So anyway, so now he puts Dol Amroth under siege, and I was this close to playing Éomer Hill right here because he's going to be able to get the Witch King, and if he has Grond in hand, then that's probably going to blow it up in one shot. But I'm kind of thinking, like the Fellowship has been pretty slow, so I kind of need to take some risks here. So I'm hoping that at some point he attacks it and doesn't wipe it out in one shot, and then I can play Éomer Hill, and who knows, if I'm lucky, maybe draw Círdan's 2 later and really make that a pain in the butt for him. So I move the Fellowship, and this time I'm hit. So I choose to kill Gandalf here just because I really, really, really want to get Gandalf the White and hopefully blow up Saruman next turn, because that's also a very efficient way of getting rid of the Palantir. That way I don't have to spend a Will of the West or a ring to get rid of it if I could, blow up Saruman in one shot anyway. I get a reveal, and then I draw 2. So turns out would have been slightly better if I kept Gandalf, but that's always the risk of drawing a 0 or an eye and then not getting to kill Gandalf at all. So either way, I'm at peace with it. So he keeps bringing in armies. I hide the Fellowship because, I don't know, maybe I could have played Éomer before I moved Gandalf. I don't know. Okay, and he brings in the Witch King, of course. Okay, so I pick up another Scouts and a Brave Stand. Very happy to see that a second Scouts come into my hand because this guy's still chilling here in the Old Forest Road. Let's see what he throws out. I think, yeah, he throws out the Balrog here because he's not planning on going for Lorien. Shadow Lengthens, Olog High, Flocks of Crabine. And, oh yeah, Threats and Promises. Yeah, that is the obvious choice there. And the obvious choice for me is a great company to throw out. So he rolls 3 Eyes and 4 Palantirs, which kind of sucks for him because he's not getting much done, but he does have Palantir of Orthanc up. And I roll another just 1 movement turn. So on the first 4 turns anyway, the first turn I had 2 movement. Ever since then, it's just been 1 movement per turn. So that doesn't feel great. This is feeling, yeah, like that's a kind of writing on the wall roll, you know, just because you have these games where like it's okay, but it's just a bit too slow. Anyway, yeah, so there's me complaining in the chat because what's the point of this game if you don't complain about it at least a little bit? So yeah, I give him a ring now to blow up the Palantir because I don't want to let him cycle through 4 cards. That's too much, you know. Because even if I let him have it this turn, like what are the odds I'm going to roll enough Wills to the West next turn to be able to get rid of it without using a ring and still be able to get Gandalf the White? It's just, to me, that seems like an obvious choice anyway. So what does he do? He plays Olog High here on Minas Tirith. So I thought he was doing that to specifically bait me into mustering to Minas Tirith because he wanted to go attack the north and wipe them out this turn. But then after thinking about it for a little bit, like, I say okay, because this army is at least going to be able to scouts into Woodland Realm, and mustering an elite in there isn't going to help that much anyway. So I go ahead and I muster a leader in Minas Tirith and a regular there, because that's at least kind of annoying for him. And then he attacks Minas Tirith anyway, so I'm a little confused about why he didn't attack it first. I guess he was scared of me staying out for a field battle, I guess, but still 8 hit points to 7 hit points and 1 leadership each. Like, if I stayed for a field battle, I feel like the Shadow player would be very happy with that. At least I would be anyway if I was a Shadow player. So he attacks Dol Amroth, and I don't use a card, of course, because none of them are playable except Imrahil, and I'm hoping to reinforce with Imrahil. So he uses, what does he use? Phlox, probably. Yeah, he uses Phlox. And he gets 1 hit, which is perfect, and I get 3 back. So that's a fantastic start to this siege. Like, as a guy sitting with Imrahil in hand, that could not have possibly gone better. So now, of course, I play Imrahil to get the full reinforcement value. So he uses a ring to attack Dol Amroth again. I guess he just wants to keep things moving. Right, and he wants to use Shadow Lengthens to bring in some reinforcements here. Right, this makes sense. So he's using a card. Oh, right, yeah, he uses Day Without Dawn here. I was really surprised by that the first time. Right. But specifically with the Shadow Lengthens combo, like, he wants to burn through more units here anyway so that he can bring in more in one shot. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, it does feel like a little bit of a waste of that card, but it makes sense. It's working towards a fast military, and specifically with how slow the Fellowship is, I think that makes sense. Okay, so he only takes 1 hit, and he rolls a 5, and then no more hits. And I roll no hits back, so a little depressing for me, but oh well, that's how it goes. So now he plays Shadow Lengthens, yeah, and he moves a bunch of troops around. I move the Fellowship, they're safe, and he plays Denethor's Folly, which is a very handy card if you're cracking Minas Tirith. Okay, I pick up Athelas and Fearfire Foes, both reasonable cards. This was a tough one because, again, I still don't have Gandalf the White, but I still, specifically, all 3 of the Ent cards together are really good. And Athelas, while I have Strider's Guide, is really good, and Aemir is good. It's just a tough call, so I end up drawing out Fearfire Foes. Wow, he picked up New Powers Rising and Cruel Weather in the same turn, and he just picked up Corsairs at the end. That is some fantastic drawing right there. That is good stuff. Okay, right, so I keep declaring my way along. I don't declare any Stemnet here. Normally, I'm not that scared of Stormcrow, but specifically when all the units I have are perfectly lined up to defend a stronghold, that means that if he plays it, I'm stuck losing a leadership or regular effectively right out of that stronghold. So I decided to declare over here because even if he does Cruel Weather me into Dol Guldur, that's kind of a waste from this spot because I'm not actually, that's not slowing me down at all. It's still 4 steps away from there. So even if he got the extra reveal tile, like that's okay. But, and next time I have a chance to declare, I can just go down to Western Em and Will, and then I'm not scared of Dol Guldur at all anymore. So Anyway, so Fellowship's okay. He rolls another 3 eyes, and I finally get a Will of the West anyway. But now that I know he's played Day Without Dawn, now I don't have to be scared of that. So I decided to move the Fellowship first, and they save again. So he proceeds with attacking Dol Amroth. I guess he's using Lidless Eye. Oh, no, strategy card. Okay, right. He's using Corsairs here. So he gets 4 hits with that, so that's pretty good, and I only get 3 back. So that's probably the end of Dol Amroth. He presses and doesn't get a hit, so that's nice for me, and I get 1 hit back. It's like, it's always funny when it's just one guy being a pain in the butt, because there's no way he's going to win, but of course if he lasts long enough, then he can waste some more dice, so that's nice for me. And he misses again, so that's what was that, 18 dice without a 6 there, so that feels bad. Anyway, so now I bring in Gandalf because I'm kind of thinking we were playing fairly quickly at this point, so I'm hoping he just quick finishes off Dol Amroth, and then I can smack down all my end cards and then Athelas. But he gets suspicious that I brought in Gandalf earlier than I had to, and he musters up in Orthanc, which is a smart choice on his part. So I don't know. Maybe I should have waited just to not be suspicious. But at the same time, what else was he going to do with that muster die? He might have done it anyway after I brought in Gandalf later. So, yeah. Okay, so he carries on against Dol Amroth and plays Wordless Power, rolls a 6 anyway. So it's a good card to cycle anyway. And now he gets Worn with Sore and Toil, which is a great card. So he moves Nazgul around. Interesting. Kind of surprised he didn't. Oh, right. The Fellowship's on step 1 movement, so that's kind of always putting one on there. Yeah. So now I play 1 Ents card because it's nice to make your opponent think you've used all your Ents cards anyway. And then I play Athelas, and I just roll all 1s and 2s for all 6 of these. So no hits on Orthanc. So that made me feel a little bit better about the misplay of kind of warning him that I might have Ents cards, so bring him in early, because this card just whiffed anyway, so I wasn't going to be able to assassinate Saruman anyway. I mean, maybe if I gotten 6 hits with the other 2, but that's very unlikely. And then Athelas rolling 2-1-1 is just, that feels so bad. Like, the expected healing is 2. Getting 0 is just awful. Just, Strider, you drunk loser, just get out of here. Go home. No one likes you anymore. Like, if you show up in Gondor, they're not going to crown you. They're just going to throw stuff at you. What do you do? So he carries on attacking Minas Tirith. Obviously, I can't play a card back because Denethor's Folly. He gets 3 hits, and I get 2. Fairly standard. That's like slightly better luck for him, but oh well. So I muster the North down to war here because, like, it feels like I could muster an elite in Lasarnak, but it feels like Gondor's pretty much cooked at this point. And getting to muster the North out to war right now, when all he has left is a Palantir, kind of guarantees that I can muster Morindale at the start of next turn. Because now that Gondor's done, he's probably about to turn his attention to the Dew line. So anyway, I pick Gwaihir and Book of Mazarbel. So having picked up Fear Fire Foes and Book of Mazarbel means it would have been kind of cool if I had had a companion over here, but alas, such is not how things went this game. Okay, so he rolls 2 eyes, and I roll 3 movement, so I'm certainly hoping to get into Mordor this turn anyway, especially since there's no Day Without Dawn, so I don't have to worry about losing this Will of the West, and I still have Strider as guide. And it's against 2 eyes. 1 eye would feel better, but yeah, 2 is it's not 3 though, so that helps. So I move and I'm safe. He attacks Minas Tirith and cycles Swarm of Bats. He gets 2 hits, and I get also 2 hits. He presses, and then he uses Fighting Uruk-hai for the onslaught here, which I find interesting. I guess you just want to hurry up and finish it off. What else are you going to play? But still, though, I don't know. I wouldn't. I like saving that one for a combat round because it not only is it 3 rounds, but it also lets you use a Palantir. So that's I prefer to use it, but obviously sometimes it's still good as an onslaught. Okay, so he gets 2 hits. I get 2 hits, but it doesn't really matter that army's done. Okay, I move again, and I'm hit this time. It's a 2, so I take a random, and it's Boromir. I'm taking randoms at this point because, it doesn't feel like he's about to come for Rohan, so I feel like that army's just going to sit there and protect Saruman while he goes and dunks on the dew line. So I'm not really expecting to have a use for Ents or Gwai here, really. So anyway, I'm fine with just losing a random and losing a card. So then he plays Crowweather because, of course, if I move again and I'm revealed, then I'm off into Mordor. So it's actually kind of bad luck for me that I didn't get revealed there, because then I could have used a token to move on the last spot, and then I would have been in for sure. But yeah, that's how this game goes. Of course, if he hadn't had Crowweather, then it would be great luck for me that I didn't get revealed. So that's the tiki-taka, tomato of this game. So I move again, and I'm hit again, and I'm not revealed again. So I take a random, and it's a Hobbit. So drawing a Hobbit for a 3 feels bad anyway, because, I'm, stacking up the corruption here. But on the plus side, I get to put Merry 4 spaces away from there. So I send him up to Dale because I have Book of Mazarbul in hand here. So that works out nicely anyway. That I can play Book of Mazarbul, then he gets to Erebor, and then the North and the Dwarves are at war, and that makes the Dew line pretty scary for him. Okay, so then he plays Nazgul Strike here, which is beautiful because he gets to assault the Fellowship, and he gets to pivot Nazgul up towards the Dew line. So he rolls... And at first I thought that was a miss because it's a 3. But yeah, because I already moved 3 times, and it's as if the Fellowship moved another time, so then he hits on 3s here. But it's a 1, so whatever. Then I use a ring to move again. And he, again, almost, when he rolled the 1-2, he paused for a second. Like, we both had this moment of like, oh my gosh, are you actually going to miss this? But then he rolled a 6, and of course it's a hit. And now it's the reveal, of course, when Crowweather's already happened. I've already done the max moving, so it's a little unlucky for me. Oh well. So then there's another 3, so I take a random, and it's the other Hobbit. So just, it's amazing how at the start of this turn, the Fellowship was in fantastic health. And in one turn, it just, whoop, there's the corruption. It's up to 8 now, and you lost some companions. So that's just, how fun. And I lost both the Hobbits to random, so that feels bad because that means Worn Restore and Toil triggers even more. So I lost both those Ent cards and Gwai here to Worn Restore and Toil. So he plays New Powers Rising. But I remember wondering at first what's up with that, and thinking usually when people move 2 orcs like that, it means there's a Shadows Gather coming. And yeah, there's the Shadows Gather. So that makes perfect sense. Like with the North and the Dwarves at war now, or like this guy certainly threatening that the Dwarves could be brought to war. The Dew line is going to be a mess. So Lorien, and with the New Powers Rising troops getting out Rohan, that's a solid 10 points right there. So I move here with thoughts of maybe if he gets a terrible roll next turn, maybe I can get a Free People's Military win. And also, it might... Like, the only way he can block me right now is if he spends this ring on making his last die into a muster. So if I get to make him spend a ring using an attack for not an attack, that's great. So he debates for a little while, and then chooses to just go attack Lorien instead, which I think makes more sense on the whole, because even if I somehow did get this army all the way to Moria without these orcs blocking me, or this army to Moria, or a combination up to Mount Gundabad, he might still be able to just get to 10 points next turn and outrace me anyway. Okay, so I'm finally in Moria, in much worse health than I'd expected to be at the start of last turn, but I'm here, so that's nice. I got a decent roll for moving, but the problem is I'm gonna die. Just like looking at, like, Lorien is not strong. Like, I never drew Celeborn or Power 2 Great, so, and there's not much hope for me retaking Gondor. I don't have a loose Strider out with Dead Men of Dunharrow, and I don't... I can muster here, but it's probably just going to die anyway. So I'm kind of just hoping that Lorien and Rohan hold on for whatever reason. Because this is a good roll for moving, and I do still have Strider as guide, so I'm kind of just hoping that the dice are nice to me, and that I can make some progress this turn and finish next turn, and hope these strongholds hold on this turn. That's the game plan for me at this point. It's not super likely, but I feel like it's the best plan I got. But like, I had that H, so I could walk into Dol Guldur and get those 2 points. But where am I going to get my other 2 points? Like, these guys could make a run for Moria, But not only can these three orcs just walk in and defend against me quite easily, this army is also right here. So even if I took it, this might just come and retake Moria anyway. Maybe if this guy could break out, he could go get Farharad or Minas Morgul. Super unlikely, though. Like, he does have 2 musters. Yeah, anyway, so that's why I commit to my just hoping I roll a lot of movement next turn. So he goes for Lorien. I play advantageous position. So would he have sacrificed some units on it if I hadn't played it? I don't know. Maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have. But either way, this way it's essentially as though he didn't play a card. But he just rolls 3 6s anyway. So shuckle de darn. And I roll 3 hits back, but it doesn't really make a difference. Like, the stronghold's already broken pretty much. So he presses and doesn't play a card. He gets 1 hit. I get 1 hit. And now he presses, and now he plays Great Host. So yeah, I thought about playing Mazarbul here because I saw him playing a strategy card, but I thought, you know what, it's probably Great Host. I'm probably just cooked. Also, who knows? Maybe if a bad roll happens, I can still play Book of Mazarbul and run over here and try to take Mount Gundabad. I don't know. Okay, so I move because I don't know. I'm thinking, like, if he does happen to have a red tile he wants to chuck in there, might as well move first. 0 reveal, that's fine. That's the other downside to getting hit with all those non-revealing tiles last turn, is that guess what's in the pool? Reveals. You know, it's just that 1 and that 3. Those are the only things that don't reveal me now. So okay, so he brought in the Mouth of Sauron. I pass. Now he attacks Lasarnak just because he doesn't want me to do anything silly. So he attacks it and takes it, as you would expect. So he starts gathering his chickens to attack Rohan. I'm not entirely sure why I said chickens, but that's something that people gather anyway. So I move again because got to run. So it's an I, so it's 3R. So I take a random and it's Strider. I'm okay with that. It would have been nice to keep his ability for running more next turn, but oh well, what are you going to do? So there goes Warmstone tile. So there goes that blue tile. I'd also debated a lot putting that blue tile in at the start of the turn, but yeah, I just felt like I didn't have the dice for it. Okay, so use the mouth ability to attack the fords. I scouts away just because, I mean, why lose a unit when you don't have to? And I use that to hide because, again, I'm just praying to the moon at this point that, well, no, I don't pray to the moon. Anyway, so he just draws a card with that Palantir because I guess he could have. Oh, actually, I think he should have used the ring there to attack Helm's Deep. But on the other hand, maybe he was scared of if he had a terrible roll next turn of me walking into Dol Guldur and Moria. Like if he rolled no musters and no army movement, then he would still have that ring, so he could at least muster in Moria to hold on. So that's a reasonable choice. Yeah. Lol picks up Shadows of the Misty Mountains anyway. That's why you never go for Moria. There's just way too many cards that defend Moria. I mean, obviously people have won games by taking Moria before. But he only allocates 1 eye, makes sense. Like you're just going to get to 10 points. And I roll another 1 movement turn. So that's, yeah, that's probably GG, I say, because it just probably is. Like there's a chance Helm's Deep just holds on and doesn't get hit. Like that's a thing that could happen, but it's not a likely thing anyway. So I play Eomer first anyway, because he's probably about to attack Helm's Deep. So I'd rather get that elite in there, you know. So he attacks Helm's Deep. I think about staying out for a field battle, but just probably not a good idea, you know. Anyway, so now we're at the point in the game where it's very, very sad that I don't have those Ants cards anymore, because I could assassinate Saruman and then play Gwai here to put Gandalf into Helm's Deep. And like that is a classic last-ditch play to try to hang on to the game, you know. But I can't, and that's the game. I don't really think that I should have played it differently, because I needed all 5 of those dice to get into Mordor that turn. And the problem is speed, you know. It's kind of just, what can you do, you know? If I had specifically not moved just to save those cards, like, what's the point of that? That doesn't make any sense. It didn't really look like Rohan was going to be attacked at the time. So. Anyway. So he attacks Edoras, gets 3 misses. I get 1 hit back. He presses. I stay. Oh, right. I specifically stay because I have advantageous position. And what do you know? It saved his life. I miss anyway, so oh well, that happened. I run away. In hindsight, well, I guess I didn't really know what I was planning on doing here. So I pick up a card here just to see what I can see. So he uses his ring to shuffle Nazgul and bring the mouth down, which makes sense because he doesn't have any character dice or any cards that can do that. So, he removes a little bit. I just draw another card because I'm really just praying for combat cards to help Helm's Deep hold on. You know, that's really the only hope. So he uses dreadful spells on Helm's Deep and gets 2 hits, so that doesn't feel good because I had these two charge cards in hand too that might have helped, but now those aren't playable anymore. So all I've got now is Faramir's shield wall here. So I thought for quite a while about what to do here. It would have been nice to muster an elite before attacking, but obviously I don't have any rings, and this character die can't be used to attack. So I just charge at Edoras because I'm just praying for a miracle here. No card because like maybe it makes sense to play Shield Wall, but I think my odds of holding Helm's Deep are a little bit better than a Shield Wall here. So anyway, and I get lucky. I roll 1-6, and he rolls no hits. So that's huge. It just went from significantly in his favor to 50-50. Just 100%. It's a 50-50 game right now. So I press, I get 1 hit, and he gets none. So now it's actually in my favor, which is crazy. Because taking this means that he has to, let's see, he has 3 attacks. So he has to take Helm's Deep in 1 and then go move and attack. So if that means now that if he doesn't take Helm's Deep in 1 shot, then he's cooked. And he can't win this turn anyway. I still might, of course, lose next turn. But, yeah. But I miss both my hits, and he gets 1 hit back. And now it's the classic 1v1, and I miss, and he gets a hit. So that's just so tantalizing. Just, like, I know God likes me. He's been very nice to me on the whole in life, but sometimes he's just a little bit mean, you know? Just like giving me the miracle comeback of 2 regulars fighting 3 down to 1, despite the defensive advantage, and then the 2 losing to that 1 afterwards. It just felt very cruel, yeah. Now it carries on attacking Helm's Deep. I play Shield Wall, of course, against a strategy card, but he just rolls no hits anyway, so that helps, and I roll 3. So that's a good start. I have a little bit of hope now anyway. So I move the Fellowship because, lol, whatever, might as well. It's a 1 reveal. I think to myself that I might as well lose a companion now because if I hit that 2 reveal next turn and I only just barely have enough dice, I'd rather be able to lose Gimli and get down to Gollum right away, you know? Also, the quicker you get to Gollum, the sooner it makes like There Is Another Way is usable, and it makes Candles of Corpses less likely to assassinate me. So that's my thinking anyway. He attacks Helm's Deep. I don't remember what card does he play now. All right, we come to kill. Yeah, that makes sense. He gets 1 hit. I get 1 hit. And then he gets another 1 from the We Come to Kill. So then he uses the Mouth of Sauron to attack again. So here we come. What does he open up with? He opens up with Great Host, but he just rolls 3 6s, so he doesn't need it. Yep, and that's that. That's the end of my run in the playoffs anyway. Tournament. Obviously, there's still the 3rd place match coming, so hopefully I get lucky against Fates and I can not get 4th place again this year. But it seems to be my curse is I don't win in the semifinals. That's not how I do here. But yeah, no, I thought Rex played really well. His choice to pivot away from Dew and go after Lorien and Helm's Deep, I thought was a very wise choice. Like I don't think that would, like any of my plays around there were necessarily mistakes. They might have been. It's hard to say with this game, you know, because if I hadn't invested those resources there and he had rolled over Dew and got 5 points, then I might have lost that way. But at the same time, how was I supposed to know that he would get New Powers Rising and Shadows Gather and be able to pivot over like that? Like, yeah, that's just how the game goes. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a good series. I really enjoy playing with Rex. He's a very pleasant person to play with, and he's good at the game too. So, definitely wishing him the best of luck in the finals. Should be a good match between him and Galhead, both great players. Let's take a look-see at statistics, see if there's anything else I can complain about. Yeah, -9 on hits back for me. Oh, no, wait, that's for him. Okay, only -3 on hits for me. I guess -2 then if you count the 5. So never mind. I don't get as much to complain. Because this is obviously switched, right? It says Free Peoples rolled 176 combat dice. Shadow Player rolled 80 combat dice. Probably the other way around. I don't know what's up with that bug or if we're ever going to fix that, but that's okay. I did get -4 on movement, though, so that's there's my something to complain about. And the Will of the West to get Gandalf took its time anyway. Like, wasn't the latest Gandalf anyone's ever seen, but it was a late one. Let's see, -2 overall on attacking dice for him, +3 on Palantirs, +2 on Musters. So fairly average. A bit low on 6s for him and a bit low on movement for me anyway. It's the story of the luck in this game. But yeah, that's all she wrote. So thanks everyone for the support and following along. It's been nice having people saying that they're cheering for me. Hopefully I bring home a 3rd place for you anyway. To all the people who predicted me getting 2nd, all the people, there's like 3. Sorry to let you down anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been fun.